Dad tip number 8, due date drama. So you remember way back earlier in the journey, dad tip number 2, know the date and weeks, that first OB visit. You get that due date. And like everybody, you go out to that calendar, you circle it in red, like here comes baby or whatever. And in the calendar, it's a very specific date. But here's the thing, only 5% of babies actually show up on that due date. So what you would want to do, especially as you get closer to when that due date is start to change your language around due date. You want to start getting away from due date and more sort of a general time frame of arrival. I recommend at least a week on either side. So instead of saying, oh, baby's due March 15th, you're going to say, oh, baby's due mid-March. Or if baby's due July 2nd, you say end of June, early July. You want to start communicating that ambiguity both to your partner, but also to other people you're talking about. Because if your partner is anything like my partner or a lot of the pregnant women out there, that due date is like the gold sticker. They've been waiting to meet baby. It's the biggest day of their life. We talk about this, some of the earlier big ideas and dad tips. This is like a thing. And it's really hard for them to kind of relax away from that set date and embrace that ambiguity. So you want to be the person to kind of take the lead on this conversation. So again, when you're asked like, how far along are you? Oh, we're 36 weeks. We're doing late March. We're doing mid-July. You want to you can be specific with the weeks, but you still want to be vague with that due date. It can get really tricky, especially as you near that due date and your partner's like, that anxiety is starting to build. Like this is what's getting ready to happen. Where it's really going down. She's probably going to be like super uncomfortable. Like there's a lot of reasons that date is going to be really important to her. And what can happen, babies can come early. So you're like, oh, all right, we're not due till, March 15th, and all of a sudden March 2nd, things get real and the contractions kick in, and it's labor, and like, oh wait, we're really having a baby. And now you're sort of scrambling because you're not really prepared because you were thinking it wasn't happening for 2 more weeks. The other side of that challenge is the due date comes and goes and baby still isn't here yet. And that's when things get really kind of like, that anxiety just goes through the roof. Like mama's probably big, mad, hot, and ready for baby to come and physically uncomfortable. It's just really uncomfortable having, a full-term baby still inside of you. So she's like, I want baby out on the physical thing, but then that emotional side, I want to meet my baby. Baby was promised to be here 2 days ago. I'm 40 and 2. I'm 40 weeks pregnant, 2 days. Where's baby? I'm really feeling that. And the more you can kind of get ahead of that, and like baby comes on their own time, anytime within this, this 2 or 3 week cushion, that can maybe alleviate a little of that stress. Now, just like we all know, telling somebody to relax never actually works. Nobody relaxes when you tell them. So you're not going to see a big impact when you're like, oh, remember baby's going to come on their own time. We're still within this 2 week window. She's not gonna be like, oh, great, thank you. I'm just gonna calm down immediately. But the more you sort of like lay the foundation by talking about that expected, time frame of arrival as you get closer, you'll be sort of like subtly calming that on a steady kind of approach. Here's a good example of why I want you guys to be mindful of this. So during our first pregnancy, my wife was pregnant. Due date was end of July 29th. So as we're approaching that, one of her good friends wanted to fly out to be helpful for when baby gets here. So not being experts at this, we're like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So the friend gets here, and like every day, she's here for like a week before and a week after, 2 weeks. And every day she's like, is baby coming today? Do you have any contractions? And like my wife was getting ready to like strangle her friend because like that's not helpful. She's like, no, not yet. And it was just kind of adding more tension to this. And it just made it really hard. And so as that date came and went, it's Omaha, it's hot, it's the end of July, early August, August 1st, August 2nd, August 3rd. Every day the anxiety's going up. Baby's late. When's baby coming? She was like eating figs, which is supposed to bring baby. She's walking all these miles, but she's like, 9 months pregnant, like all the way there, 40 and 5. And it's just that emphasis on the date made everything harder. So just get away from that date, get really cool and calm, have that expected time frame of arrival, and that's going to at least take care of yourself and your own anxiety, and you'll be able to be better connected to your partner and her journey, and she can lean into you a little bit and feel reassured, calm down maybe a little bit, and feel like you're still with her in the team of being ready for baby without it being so focused on that one date.